Time now for the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Welcome to the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge, your guide to outdoor adventures, local traditions, and today, holiday magic in Vermont and New Hampshire. I'm your host, Joshua Smith, and today we're bringing you an extra special episode filled with Christmas cheer. We're taking you to the Vermont Reindeer Farm in Orleans, Vermont, where we'll meet real reindeer, uncover fun facts about their behavior and care, and hear the heartwarming story of the family that brings these enchanting animals to life for the holiday season. Have you ever wondered what reindeer eat? How do they stay warm in Vermont winters? Or what it's like to care for them during the busiest time of year? Well, we've got all that and more. Plus, we have my 10-year-old daughter helping out with the conversation. But that's not all. This episode is also packed with seasonal extras. We'll dive into the history of reindeer and their iconic role in the holiday traditions. Plus, don't forget, we've got the Outdoor Edge weekend forecast coming up with the Fairbanks Museum, and that'll help you to plan your winter activities. And we also have the harvest report from the Upper Valley Grill. So get ready for an episode full of festive insights, heartwarming stories, and practical tips to enjoy the holiday season. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it on this one. So here we go. We are actually here at the Vermont Reindeer Farm, and we are talking with Pauline Bro, who is the matriarch of the of the Vermont Reindeer Farm?
Sure, I am.
So it's really exciting. So, we're here talking, with our Christmas themed episode of the Outdoor Edge, and it's amazing to hear about that. There's actually a reindeer farm right here in Vermont, northeastern Vermont, and right next door to New Hampshire, northwestern New Hampshire as well. And we are technically, it says it's Orleans County, but it's actually West Charleston, Vermont. Correct?
Yes, we live in West Charleston, in Orleans County.
In Orleans County. Yes. Yeah. So. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of your family's farm?
So this farm, the land we're on, has been in the Bro family for over 100 years, passed down from generation to generation. So my husband, John, is the third generation farmer to be farming this land. Like this, we have about, I think it's 35 acres. This used to be the Bro's cattle pasture. So when John and I got married 45 years ago, this was the cattle pasture. And so it's really cool because we can still find things that were from his family. There's the trails through the woods or the old cow paths that are through the woods. So it's kind of cool to be able to do that. John's mother's 88 years old, lives right next door. So she's happy that we're using the land and we're going to pass it down to our kids.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, because I know it's like you see a lot of this too. Like, where we live now, there's just like farms seems to be shrinking, and some farms just seem to have disappeared where they take old farmland and kind of subdivide it out as well.
Yes.
So originally, was it always 35 acres, or is it much larger?
It was 600 acres in
Wow.
the heyday of the Bro family when they were milking a lot of cows, and that was in the 70s and 80s. They owned over 600 acres of land here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what inspired what inspired you and John to bring reindeer to Vermont and start the Vermont Reindeer Farm?
Well, I was reading this Country Woman magazine, and on the front cover was this woman standing there with her reindeer. She had a red coat on and blonde hair. This is 15, 16 years ago. And I was like, John, we had just built our house and we had just built our barn. And when I say we got the logs off our land, milled it, and built all of our own buildings. So we built the barn, and I was like, John, we have a barn. Let's get some reindeer. So I called the lady up in New York, and we started talking. And next thing you know, we're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee at a reindeer convention and got a couple of reindeer. I mean, I make it sound easy. It was about an 8-month process because there's so many rules and regulations and so many permits and so much to go through. So It was a lot, but we did it.
So when you mentioned that, like the rules and regulations and the permits, was it mostly like specific to Vermont, or there's federal permits and rules and regulations? Or?
So we're under USDA regulations, insurance regulations, and this Vermont Department of Agriculture regulations. So it's under all of those that we have to follow all of their rules.
Okay.
So.
And And how did your transition from, say, being a dairy farming to reindeer farming come about?
Well, John still is a dairy farmer. This is what we call our hobby farm. So I know that most dairy farmers are in the mindset we can take care of any animal, that we dairy farmers can do anything. So that's why we're like, we'll get a couple reindeer and see how it goes. And we've learned some very hard lessons and some good lessons. And it's been a real learning experience the last 15 years.
Wow.
But it's been a lot of fun.
Was there any specific moment or inspiration that made you think, let's bring reindeer to Vermont?
Not until I was reading that magazine.
And so how does your family's agricultural background influence your work with reindeer?
Well, like I said, dairy farmers, so John can pretty much fix anything. John can build fences, and John can he kind of makes it happen around here because that's how he grew up. And, he's a hard worker and he knows how to get things done.
Right.
So.
Well, then, beside as you mentioned, like the rules and regulations and the permits, what were some of the other bigger challenges that your family faced starting a reindeer farm?
The biggest challenge is building the fence because we did it all by hand, and it has to be a regulation 8-foot fence.
Oh, wow.
And the poles, are pretty big. So you have to dig all the holes, and, we cut our own fence posts, and you have to put the cement in. So it took a long time to do that. And then you have to be inspected. I think that was the biggest job, was putting up that big fence. So
that was just that was regulatory because of reindeer. You have to have an 8-foot tall fence.
It's not just reindeer; it's any kind of cervidae. Anything in the deer family has to have that 8-foot fence. It's a regulation fence, and I can't remember the things, like it has to be a wooden fence post so many feet, and a metal one so many feet, and then a wooden one. So there's a very specific way to do it. Our land is a lot of ledge, so we were dealing with a lot of ledge that we couldn't get through. So we had to cement in each one, and that was probably our biggest thing, was getting that fence up.
Well, I mean, Vermont is famous for having, rocky soil. Yes. So
yes, we found every piece out there.
So what does a typical day look like for you and your family here on the farm?
So my husband John works on my son John's dairy farm in Barton. So he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and gets ready and heads over to that farm. I get up a little after 5, just as he's leaving. I'm getting up, and then I do all the morning chores here. And then I change out of my barn clothes, take a shower, and head to school. And I'm at school all day. And then I come home, and John's usually home, and then we just do chores together at night. And then, of course, weekends, we're just really busy. We have people here on the weekends, but we're also trying to have one day we're just working. There's always something to fix. Something has to be done always.
And what has the local community responded to, with having a reindeer farm here over the years?
It's funny because a lot of local people don't come. They think, I'm not going to go up there and look at a reindeer. They have no idea all we've got going on up here. So, everyone's fine with that. We'll take the reindeer out for events. Like we'll go to Newport Farm and Garden, and a lot of local people will go there, and it helps boost their sales and what they're doing there, and they come here. When we first got the idea to do reindeer, people thought we were crazy. Seriously, people were like, you are crazy. It's never going to take off. And now, 15 years later, the people that said we're crazy are the people that are bringing their grandchildren to visit their farms, which it's kind of funny. It's like, you used to think that's crazy. Now you got grandchildren.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be still talking to Pauline Bro, and we'll have some questions about some Christmas and holiday themed questions. We'll be right back.
It's the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
At Red Clover Bikes in Fairleigh, Vermont, we know that a bike is more than just a ride. It's an extension of who you are. With financing available on top-tier Trek bicycles, e-bikes, and a team that's all about making biking accessible and fun, We help you make the most of the roads and the trails that make this little spot of heaven special. Whether you're looking to enhance your bike's performance or need expert advice on the latest cycling gear, we've got you covered. So come visit us in Fairleigh at Red Clover Bikes, where your adventure begins.
Yep, holiday shopping time is here again. I always stop at Gateway Sports there in Wells River. You can find stocking stuffers for those hunters and sportsmen, all of them folks on your list, new and used firearms, all the gear for muzzle load, ammo, holsters, you know what I mean. My buddy Gary even looks a lot like Santa, but don't tell him I said so. It's Christmas gift shopping time. Why don't you head over to Gateway Sports there in Wells River, just before the bridge on 302. Don't blink, you'll miss it. Ho, ho, ho!
Miles Supply, your stop for all your general business products, paper towels, toilet paper, first aid kits, and more. Purchase your paper and soap products from Miles, and they'll install the dispensers for free. Do you own a salon, restaurant, coffee shop, or gym making a monthly run to the big box store for your business supplies? Save time with Miles Supply. Call today for a sales visit, 476-3963, or walk directly into their showroom, 143 Boynton Street next to Spalding High School. Miles Supply, family-owned and building relationships since 1954.
The Autosaver Group St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
All right, we are back, and we actually have my daughter Elizabeth is here, and she's going to be asking Pauline, well, Mrs. Bro, some questions about Christmas and holidays.
What is it like to run a reindeer farm during the Christmas season?
It's a lot of fun. It's very busy. We're busy all the time because people want to come here, especially at Christmas. So it's very, very busy.
How do you incorporate holiday traditions and decorations on the farm?
So we have a ton of decorations that are up in that loft up there. So what I'll do is starting this coming weekend, I'm going to start decorating. So I decorate the whole outside of the farm and make it beautiful because people want to take pictures. We do a lot of the traditional things, like we do cookies. We make cookies. We call it's Cookies with Mrs. Claus, and kids love to come and do cookies with Mrs. Claus.
Do you have any special events or activities that visitors can enjoy during the holidays?
Oh, yes, Cookies with Mrs. Claus. We have to keep it pretty small here because we don't have a lot of parking. So we only allow like so many cars, like 10 cars worth of people in the winter because of parking. So we do Cookies with Mrs. Claus. We do a few events, private events for people here. And then we just have open farm days where people can come and visit all the animals. And we have a candy cane trail that goes through the woods. They can follow the candy canes through the woods and come back and get a special treat. And we've always got hot chocolate in here and Christmas cookies and candy canes. So we just try to make it a really fun event.
Can you share some of the holiday traditions your family has created with the reindeer?
Our grandchildren are here so much that the reindeer really don't seem to be as special all year long. But one of the things the little kids like to do is, so did you know that reindeer lose their antlers every year? Okay, so they lose their antlers in the spring. So whatever is the youngest grandchild that comes here first has to go out and find the reindeer antler. So that's a really fun tradition. And then they try to wait up on Christmas Eve to see if they can see Santa. And one year, my grandson Mason was going to stay up in his bedroom. He lives right over here, and his bedroom looks right out onto the reindeer pasture. So he stayed up until like 11:30, and at midnight, we had to wake him up to look out the window and see Santa out there. And we couldn't wake him up. We kept shaking and shaking. It's like, Mason, wake up, wake up. And he woke up and he looked out the window and he goes, geez, he is real. And then went back to sleep. So that was kind of a fun thing.
Do you have any visitors usually react when they see a live reindeer, especially during Christmas?
Absolutely. People loved. Yesterday we had a lady here who's like, she was probably in her 40s. She's like, I've never seen a real live reindeer in my life. I thought they were pretend. So it's always nice to have people like, you're going to see them too for the first time, right? So I want to see your reaction when you get to see them, because they are such beautiful animals.
What role do you think reindeer play in bringing holiday joy to people, especially kids?
Well, we all know that the reindeer pull Santa's sleigh, right? So that's what they want to see. So I always make sure that when kids come here that they don't think I'm Mrs. Claus and my husband Santa. We are not. We're the reindeer keepers, and we keep them for Santa.
Do you have any special Christmas events or reindeer visits outside the farm for the community?
Yes, we have a lot of them. I don't have my list with me. Locally, we're going to be down at Newport Farm and Garden. That's always the Saturday before Christmas. We're going to be down in South Burlington. We're going to be down in Stowe a couple different times. We go down to the Echo Science Center a couple different times. We go down to the Vins Science Center. So we're out a lot.
All right, we're going to take another quick break and a quick sponsor break, and then when we return, we're gonna talk to Pauline about some of the other outdoor and seasonal activities that can be found here at the Vermont Reindeer Farm. Tune in for that.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
This is Bob McGee from Wild Vermont Customs. From mud to snow, water to road, powered or pedaled, our custom fabrication shop can make it look great. With paint, hydro dip, powder coat, media blast to your restoration project, metal artwork, or your hunting trophies. Come see what we can do for you. Gabe, what can we do for the hunting trophies?
We can dip Euro skulls, make custom plaques or mounts.
Wild Vermont Customs, East Redgate, Vermont. On the web at wildvt.com.
Check out our Facebook page for pictures.
All right, we are back, and we're talking to Pauline Bro of the Bro Farm, which is also known as the Vermont Reindeer Farm. And so, Pauline, before earlier in the episode, earlier in the show, we were talking a little bit about how this is a working farm. This is not just a reindeer farm. You have other events and you have other activities that you do here as well. And one of them is a snowshoeing tour. Is that?
Yeah. So we have my middle son, Jeremy, he lives right here on the farm. He loves snowshoeing. So He does guided snowshoe. We have a bunch of snowshoes and people can come and he'll take them down through our woods. We have a trail. It's the Candy Cane Trail, but it's also our nature trail and it's our snowshoeing trail. And he's got like a beginner level and then he's got the one that goes all the way to the back 40. So a lot of people love to go out snowshoeing with Jeremy. I have to say, Jeremy, slow down because he likes to go pretty fast. But if anybody falls down, Jeremy will pick you back up. So
right.
They have a lot of fun snowshoeing with Jeremy.
Well, and then you also mentioned too is that before we actually started recording that you not only is it a dairy farm, you have the reindeer, but you have other animals here, and people originally come here to see the reindeer, but they actually fall in love with the other animals. Yes.
So most of the animals we have here are rescue animals that we've taken in over time. So we've got 3 little donkeys, mini donkeys. They're super cute. And we've got a Highland cow, Harry. She's 22 years old. We took her in a couple years ago, and her daughter. Then we have a little Highland. Well, he's not a calf anymore. And we got 3 ponies, 3 baby goats that are so cute, and 1 older goat. We tell him he's their grandfather, or like your grandpa to those little goats. And we've got a bunch of chickens and ducks, and we've got little fallow deer. Which are out beside the reindeer that people actually love the fallow deer. And there's 1 little Sika deer that's out there too. And she actually lived in our house for 6 months. I'll show you some pictures. She is adorable. And then we got 1 little male fallow deer that we took in a couple years ago. And he was pretty naughty, but he's pretty good now. So the kids at school all know him as Naughty David, but he's doing better now. So So every animal has a story.
And how does that work? You say they're rescue animals. How would have people call you up and say, hey, I got an animal here?
Yes. So like the little Sika deer, the state vet, she was orphaned and she needed to go to a licensed facility, which is us. They actually called me at school one day and said, can you take her? She came in a cat crate. That's how big she was.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, keep her in your house for 2 weeks. She lived in her house for 6 months. She lived all winter in our house. And then this little fallow deer. I mean, people see on our Facebook page and social media that we'll take in animals, but you can only take in so many animals. Like we can't take any more. We're full, because you can't pack any more in. So we do the best that we can and give everybody a happy life. When an animal comes here, we're just like, this is your forever home.
Right.
So,
and so, because as you mentioned, during the Christmas season, how many days of the week are you open?
Usually just 1 day a week, because if we're gone Saturday to an event, then we're open on Sunday. Okay. And I know a lot of people try to get here, but it's really hard. We work full-time jobs, and if you're gone one day, you got to be home one day. After Christmas, I'm open pretty much every day because I'm home from school. So after Christmas, that week after, we're usually pretty jam-packed that week too, because a lot of people are in Vermont after Christmas.
Right.
So
kind of describe the setup, because as you know, we are this is audio, but it's amazing. As we drove in, you have all these little buildings set up, and all of them have decorations, all of them have signs on it. So kind of paint a picture for our listeners on what it looks like when they come in and what to expect.
So the building that we're in is called our Reindeer Lodge, and this is where we have a little gift shop with some cute things in it. And then we have our barn, which has all the animals that are in there right now. And we have another little building, we call that the Sweet Shop. And we do a big fall festival, and we use that mostly for the fall festival, where we make our own cotton candy and sugar on snow and popcorn, and so that's the Sweet Shop. Then the next building over is John's tool shed, then our wood shed, then our house. The reindeer barn is on the other side of the driveway. And then we have a little sugar house. So we make our own maple syrup. And then my son Jeremy is building over here. So we actually, like old Vermont farms used to have outbuildings. That was a thing, and every building has its name. Right. So we like all of our little outbuildings. And what's really nice is our son Jeremy is a builder. He was a builder. Now he's a building trades teacher at North Country. So everything here, Jeremy has mastermind. We help him build too, but he is our builder. So it's nice when I'll be like, Jeremy. And 2 years ago, he built a pavilion on the other side of the barn. So we have a beautiful, huge pavilion over there that we can use for events now. Right. So he got married there. Our son Justin got married there. Now we use it for craft fairs, and I do summer camps here in the summer. So wow. we do summer camps, which are a lot of fun. You should think about that. So we do a lot. So we use the pavilion a lot for that.
Well, I got to say too, as you say, we're in the lodge here, and you have amazing gifts. These are great for Christmas themed gifts, but they're also, as you say, it's Vermont themed gifts too. Yeah. And so do you see a lot of people coming in here that are locals and tourists?
Yeah, I mean, the gift shop is only open on days that we're open, but if local people want to buy, so I have another business, Nature's Touch. I make homemade soaps and lotions and lip balms. Oh, nice. Not much is here because it's down in the house because I've got a craft fair this coming week. So people love my products, so they can come here and buy stuff if they call me. I'm like, yeah, you can go in and do that. So our grandson makes the maple syrup. My cousin and her husband do the maple spices. A friend of mine does some crocheted animals. So it's kind of like a cooperative shop where a bunch of my friends make things and we sell it for them, and then they get the money for it.
Right. Okay. Kind of like on consignment and stuff. All right. We're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking about, really kind of just diving deep into raising and caring for reindeer. I'm really curious about that. So stay tuned.
At Red Clover Bikes in Fairleigh, Vermont, we know that a bike is more than just a ride. It's an extension of who you are. With financing available on top-tier Trek bicycles, e-bikes, and a team that's all about making biking accessible and fun, We help you make the most of the roads and the trails that make this little spot of heaven special. Whether you're looking to enhance your bike's performance or need expert advice on the latest cycling gear, we've got you covered. So come visit us in Fairleigh at Red Clover Bikes, where your adventure begins.
This winter, warm up your business with Northeast Kingdom Online. Trying to create your own online marketing can feel colder than a moose's morning breath. But fret not, we have the hot cocoa to warm your business. Our team of snowbound marketers will whip up a strategy that'll melt your competition faster than a snowbank in April. From digital marketing to website design, social media management, and more, we'll help you create an online strategy that will help your business thrive. Visit northeastkingdomonline.com. Let's get this sleigh ride started.
Miles Supply, your stop for all your general business products, paper towels, toilet paper, first aid kits, and more. Purchase your paper and soap products from Miles, and they'll install the dispensers for free. Do you own a salon, restaurant, coffee shop, or gym making a monthly run to the big box store for your business supplies? Save time with Miles Supply. Call today for a sales visit, 476-3963, or walk directly into their showroom, 143 Boynton Street next to Spalding High School. Miles Supply, family-owned and building relationships since 1954.
All right, and we are back. This is the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Outdoor Edge, and we are with Pauline Bro of the Bro Family Farm, also known as the Vermont Reindeer Farm, up here in West Charleston, Vermont. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand the mic back over to our co-interviewer here, Elizabeth, who our 10-year-old here, who is going to be asking questions about raising and caring for reindeer.
Can you describe what goes into caring for reindeer day to day?
Well, so they get fed twice a day. They get, it's called sweet deer feed, and some cracked corn and beet pulp. And we always chop up apples. You can see there's a lot of apples around here. We chop up apples every day for them to have. They don't have to have it, but they love them, so we make sure they get apples every day. And then they get a nice, fine second or third cut hay and water.
How are reindeer different from other animals you've worked with on the farm?
When we first got reindeer, we kind of thought we can take care of any animal, and we thought we're going to treat them like they're cows, but they're not cows, they're reindeer. So you do have to treat them differently. We are not like afraid of being out there with them. They've got really big antlers, but they're very calm animals. So they're just kind of fun to be around.
What do reindeer typically eat, and do they have any favorite treats?
Their favorite treat is wild raspberry leaves. So we know this because we have a wild raspberry patch, and when we take them out walking, we can put their halters on them and take them for a walk around the farm. They always lead us to the wild raspberry leaves. So that is their favorite summertime treat. Yesterday we went to get some, they're all gone by. So now their favorite treat is graham crackers. They like graham crackers.
How do you keep the reindeer healthy, especially during the busy visiting seasons?
Well, we've always we do a visual check on every animal every time we're doing tours to make sure everything is good. They're actually pretty healthy animals. We really haven't had a lot of things. One of the things that we do have to have the vet here for is sometimes they get an abscess on the bottom of their hoof, and they'll limp a little bit, and the vet has to come and release that abscess.
Are there any unique challenges to raising reindeer in Vermont?
Well, just with all the permits and stuff, that's a big challenge. And in the summer, we have to run fans all summer to keep them cool. In the winter, they're fine. They love the winter. But in the summer, they get really hot. So we have to run fans 24 hours a day. So our electricity bill is really high.
How do you train or prepare the reindeer for interactions with visitors?
That's a really good question. So we've got this new baby reindeer that we just got last year. She's a year old now, but her name is Aurora Vixen. And we've been trying to train her to walk on a lead rope. And all she wants to do is walk backwards. She pushes like this and walks away from us and won't come forward. But she's doing pretty good. So we have to just train. We have to work with them a lot to get used to that.
What's the best part of working with reindeer, and what's the hardest?
The best part is they're just such unique, beautiful animals. Like sometimes I'm out there and I kind of take it for granted. I'm like out there feeding them and fussing around with them. Then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the only woman in the whole state of Vermont that's feeding reindeer. That's kind of cool. And the hardest thing is they really don't like, they're not affectionate animals. So when people come in, they're like, oh, I just want to kiss our reindeer's nose. I'm like, yeah, don't try to kiss her nose because they've got antlers right here. So that's the hardest thing is people think they're snuggly and cute and want to be hugged on, but they really don't. I'm like, save the hugs for the goats. So.
Do reindeer have any specific needs or quirks that people might find surprising?
I think that's it. It's just that people think that they're fuzzy and they want to snuggle with them, and I'm like, no, they really don't. They're friendly. They like to be around us when we're out there. They want to have their nose right in your business, but if you try to reach out to them, they back away. So that's kind of it's kind of quirky the way they are like that because they really like us, but they don't want us to touch and pet them.
How do you handle caring for reindeer during Vermont's intense winters?
They love the winter in Vermont is their favorite time of the year. They do not ever get cold. They have such thick fur coats. They have 12,000 hairs per square inch. The reindeer is never cold in Vermont. So the winters, piece of cake for the reindeer.
Are there any fun facts about reindeer that you think most people don't know?
So reindeer click. So down in their ankles, they have a little joint that clicks when they walk, and it goes click, click, click. So there's that old song, Up on the Housetop, click, click, click. People think it's the reindeer paws on the roof. It's not. It's their tendons that are clicking, and that's so if they're lost out in a snowstorm, they can find each other. So they don't really make noises except for clicking. So when you're out there, you'll hear the clicking.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth, for asking those amazing questions. So we're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we're going to have some fun family-friendly questions and get some fun facts about reindeer. So tune in for that.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Yep, holiday shopping time is here again. I always stop at Gateway Sports there in Wells River. You can find stocking stuffers for those hunters and sportsmen, all of them folks on your list, new and used firearms, all the gear for muzzle load, ammo, holsters, you know what I mean. My buddy Gary even looks a lot like Santa, but don't tell him I said so. It's Christmas gift shopping time. Why don't you head over to Gateway Sports there in Wells River, just before the bridge on 302. Don't blink, you'll miss it. Ho, ho, ho!
This is Bob McGee from Wild Vermont Customs. From mud to snow, water to road, powered or pedaled, our custom fabrication shop can make it look great. With paint, hydro dip, powder coat, media blasting your restoration project, metal artwork, or your hunting trophies. Come see what we can do for you. Gabe, what can we do for the hunting trophies?
We can dip Euro skulls, make custom plaques or mounts.
Wild Vermont Customs, East Redgate, Vermont. On the web at wildvt.com.
Check out our Facebook page for pictures.
We are back at the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge, and we are here on site at the Vermont Reindeer Farm in West Charleston, Vermont, and we are talking to Pauline Bro and the Bro Family Farm, and we are learning everything to do about reindeer. And so, really curious for you, Pauline, what do kids love most about visiting the reindeer farm?
They just love to see those reindeer, and they love to feed them. Like I said, the wild raspberry leaves, because you can get that close to them and they'll come up and nibble on them. So that is like, they love that. And like I told you before, they love seeing the reindeer, but then when they get to go in with the fallow deer, I think the kids love the deer more because they're little deer, they're only this big, and they don't have antlers.
Right.
So those are kids actually, I think, and most adults too.
Right. So we noticed too, you have something about a reindeer school. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So when people book to come, we'll have people call that just say, I just want to come and see your reindeer. And we're like, no, we are trying to do an educational piece here too. It's not just come look at the pretty reindeer. So I have a bucket over there with pictures like the reindeer throughout the year. And we just kind of go through what the reindeer looks like at different times of years, when they're growing their antlers, when they're shedding their velvet, when they shed their winter antlers, and go through that whole process. And everybody always learns something. We've had so many people who are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So instead of just coming to see pretty reindeer, we like to teach them something.
Okay.
That's our goal, is an educational experience too.
And do the reindeer have any fun personalities or quirks that you've noticed?
Yes. Cupid is our most curious one. Like Cupid will come right up and be right near you and want to be friendly. Dasher stands back like, yeah, don't get near me. And Aurora, she's just a baby. She's still a little bit timid around people. She's not with us, but she is around people.
What's the most memorable reaction you've seen from a visitor meeting a reindeer for the first time?
Oh my goodness. We've had so many people that they're just like, of course, women that come here and see reindeer are just like so excited. We have people that come year after year after year, people from Florida, from all over the United States that just come to be in the presence of reindeer. They just want to be in the presence of reindeer because they are kind of magical. Mm-hmm. They are.
And so also too, I can't believe we haven't even asked this question first. How many reindeers do you have and what are their names?
Oh, so we have 3. We have Dasher, who is our oldest. She is 10. Cupid is 9, and Aurora Vixen is 1.5. We did have another little reindeer. Her name was Prancer, and she actually just passed away a month or so ago. Oh. But she was 15 years old, so she was pretty precious.
Yeah. And how can kids and adults safely interact with a reindeer when they visit?
So when we go out, we always say, don't block the doorways. They're never blocked in. We never block them in so that they always have an escape route. And that's people, I think, are almost a little overwhelmed being in with the reindeer that they forget that. And I'll have to say, no, leave the doorway open. If they want to go out, they need to come in and out as they want. So that's part of reindeer school is actually teaching safety too. Like this is how, to behave out there and keep your little ones next to you. The reindeer are not used to little kids running around, that's a lot for them. So we kind of teach that too, like behaviors out there.
Right. And what do you like visitors to take away from their experience here at the farm?
We just want them to feel like they've come to visit, their grandparents' farm and just enjoy it. And that's what people are like, wow. Because you think about when you go someplace, do you really meet local people? You don't really get to visit and meet local people. So here, that's what people like. They love the whole experience, not just the reindeer. Coming in here and talking and visiting and walking through our woods and being just on the farm is the experience. We call it the reindeer experience. It's the whole thing. It's not just the reindeer.
Right.
We try to make it a very special experience for everyone that comes.
And how can people best prepare their visit to the reindeer farm?
Wearing boots. We have people that come in the winter with sneakers. Gosh. So we all say wear boots. I mean, it is winter in Vermont, but during the summer, you don't have to wear boots. It might be muddy, but we keep it nice and clean. But really, sandals, don't really do it very well on a farm. But people show up in sandals. But whatever. Like yesterday, there was a little girl here. These little shoes on. I said, don't worry, we'll wash your feet when you leave. So we washed her shoes up when she left. The mom's like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. I'm like, well, we're full service.
And so if people want to learn more about the Vermont Reindeer Farm, where's the best place they could go to?
So we do have a website. It's vtreindeerfarm.com. And we have our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is more active because I post something every day.
Okay.
Every day I tell, let people know. We have people that follow us from all over the world. Something that's going on here, whether it's with the reindeer or the cows or the donkeys, and we're pretty transparent about what's going on here. And I think people genuinely like that. They feel like they're part of the farm. So it's a very positive page. We are not, if somebody puts a negative comment on there, Pauline is going to delete it and block that person because, in this world, we need some positive, fun things. And that's what we promote. Positivity,
especially during Christmas, and it's
yes,
the most magical time of year as well. And people, as you said earlier, you're not open just during the holiday seasons. You have summer events, you have fall events as well.
Yeah, we're open at least one day a week, and then we do a big fall festival. It's always Columbus Day weekend. The more, we've got the pavilion now, so now we can do more events because you've got that nice building to do things in. So every year we add something new, but we're also trying to maintain what we've got here. It's my husband and myself. Our son helps out some, and so it's a lot for us to do ourselves. So we're not trying to get too big.
Right.
We limit the amount of people here to like 25 people at a time because that's enough people for us to entertain at a time. So this is not Santa's Village. This is not a big commercialized thing. It's pretty small.
Right.
thing that we're doing.
Yeah, perfect. Well, this has been amazing, Pauline. Thank you so much for letting us spend some time with you up here.
Yeah, it was fun.
Right.
I didn't know I was going to have a little interviewer too, so that was awesome.
And that was my conversation that my daughter Elizabeth and I had with Pauline Bro of the Bro Family Farm, also known as the Vermont Reindeer Farm. And definitely, I would say this was it's a little bit up the road, up on 91, and I highly recommend. I highly recommend you all going to check it out. It was a great time. You can go to vtreindeerfarm.com, check it out, and make a visit. Make a visit up there, especially if you're off doing some last minute holiday shopping, and just make it part of your family tradition. We're going to take another break, and also coming up is our Outdoor Edge weekend forecast.
It's the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
Your website isn't working for you. Hi, this is Jay Davis, co-founder of Northeast Kingdom Online. I'm sure you've seen us online already. We've created hundreds of websites for companies just like yours. If you're ready to stand out on the internet, it's time to join forces with Northeast Kingdom Online, Northern New England's premier website design company. From security to mobile responsiveness, we handle it all. Let's make your website as unique as your business. Visit us at northeastkingdomonline.com and let's get started. Achieve more with northeastkingdomonline.com.
The Autosaver Group St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles, ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
All right, we are back, and as promised, we want to go over for you the harvest report that was reported to us from Upper Valley Grill, and this is for the December muzzleloader season. He's got, Bill Kane sent me 6 names of people that actually checked in and registered. Jacob Brillhart got a 106-pound doe, and out of Plainfield. Gabriel, when our good friend Gabe from the Vermont Wild Customs got out of Rygate, got a 117-pound one. Curtis McKay out of Groton got a 125-pound doe. Brett Pierce out of Rygate got a 117-pound doe. Pat Gomez out of Groton got a 159-pound 8-pointer. And Groton's Troy Oliver got a 182-pound 7-pointer. So congratulations to Troy Oliver. We want to remind everybody as well that coming up tomorrow that we have on the Stephen John and Friends, our Friday morning show, he's got a whole list of different guests that are coming up, and around 8:30, you're going to have the Woodsville High School Chorus Christmas caroling students will be there with Roxanne and Zampiri. So that's going to be at the 8:30. And also, as always, he's going to have at 6:30. This time of year, he always has Paul Ordway from PTO's Repair is going to be on. We also talk with, I was able also to talk earlier with Shayna Meyer from Averte, talking to her about issues of mental health issues that are happening around the Christmas season. I also got to be able to talk to April Dyke from the Trendy Times. Got an update from her. And also, as we mentioned, Wild Vermont Customs, Bob and Gabe Urosevich is going to be on there around 7:15. And as always, we got Ted Cooper on around 7:45, and also had a conversation with Todd Holt from Todd Holt Physical Therapy. And so there's so much going on here at WYKR. We have basketball. High school basketball is back. And next week, we have four broadcasts. 4 basketball games are going to be broadcasting next week. We're going to be at BMU. BMU versus Rivendell is going to be happening. We're going to be broadcasting that, the girls' game, at 6 p.m., and that's going to be on the 17th. Then we're also going to be having Woodsville. We're going to be back in Woodsville and be Woodsville versus Littleton. That's going to be a doubleheader. That's going to be on the 19th. That's going to be next Thursday. That's the reason why we're doing this episode of The Outdoor Edge. We usually do it on the first and third Thursdays, but we did it here on the second Thursday, as you've noticed, is because we're going to have a doubleheader next Thursday, and that is Woodsville versus Littleton. It's going to be the girls and the boys, and that's going to start at 5 p.m. And then we're going to be broadcasting the Oxbow game on that Friday after, and that's going to be Oxbow versus Rivendell. So we're going to have 2 Rivendell games next week, and that one's going to be at 7 p.m. So you can't miss it. And I want to remind everybody as well that all these episodes that we're doing of The Outdoor Edge are available next day on demand on our app and also through our website as well. And we also, for those that are YouTubers, people that have YouTube, we also have a YouTube page and our YouTube channel that actually has all of our previous Outdoor Edge episodes that are available on there. But definitely, if you haven't downloaded our app yet, definitely download it. You can be able to listen to us anywhere that your phone works. You're going to have it in your pocket. You're going to be able to listen to us. And on there at the bottom, for those that have the app, know this, that at the bottom of the app, there is a little thing that says podcast on there. You click on that button, and then boom, you have all of our previous episodes of The Outdoor Edge that are available for you on demand. So plenty of things going on here. And as you know, as we mentioned, we got basketball games coming up, and we're going to be playing that. And also, if you go to the Bridge Weekly, the Bridge Weekly also has for us our extended, as of now, what our broadcast schedule is going to look like for high school basketball. And then coming up, so The Outdoor Edge, we're going to be back on again in January, and we're going to be focusing a lot on, a lot more outdoor winter activities. We're going to be talking about ice fishing. We're going to be talking about antique snowmobiling. There is going to be a lot of things that we're going to be talking about coming up into the new year, so you don't want to miss that. So make sure that you mark your calendars and be sure that always it's going to be in the first and third Thursdays of the month is when we're going to be doing these shows as well. So with that said, I really wanted to do a shout out again for the Bro Family Farm for letting us be a guest up there. And as I say, it is a truly magical place, and it's really exciting to know that we as in Vermont and New Hampshire where we are, that we have some of these great places that we can kind of add to our own Christmas traditions.